Hello Lions fans, and welcome to yet another season preview video, as today we will talk to head softball coach Susan Cassidy-Lyke about the upcoming 2014 season for the Lions. Thank you, Susan, for joining me today. I appreciate it. First off, Susan, let's talk about last year. To recap, your team had a very successful season yet again, finishing with a 53-14 record and reaching the NCAA Division II National Championship for the second time in the last 4 years, and reached the NCAA Division II Super Regional for the third time in the last 4 years. In addition, your team won its third straight East Coast Conference Championship. What was your biggest takeaway when you look back at 2013?
Well, obviously it was an exciting year for us, very successful. I think reaching the World Series for the second time in 4 years, I felt like this year we felt like we belonged.
Right.
We had a lot of wide-eyed student athletes when we first went 4 years ago.
Right.
But we had 3 players that had an opportunity to be there for their second time. I felt like we belonged in those games. We had a big upset of the reigning champion, Valdosta, in our first matchup game.
Right.
And then in our other 2 contests, although we fell in those games,
right.
They were very close.
Okay. All right, Susan, what is your team doing right now to prepare for the season? Can you give our fans a glimpse into a day in the life of a Molloy softball player?
Well, the day in the life of a Molloy softball player starts very early. We practice at 6 a.m. and we get enough chance in there to do defensive drills, to do pitching, hitting, before they even step into the classroom.
Right.
And obviously they're doing a lot of studying in the classroom, which is important to us for student athlete. We had 13 players on the academic honor roll for the school this year. We had the highest GPA in our athletic department at a 3.66. So they've done very well. They do a lot of clinics and a lot of community service.
Right.
You know, and a lot of involvement in student government and stuff on campus. So it's a very busy day for student athletes.
Yeah. All right, Coach, now let's take a look at your roster. Can you please discuss with us your position players this year?
Yeah, well, I'm very happy that I'm going to be returning 7 of my 9 position players.
Right.
So I feel confident there defensively. Impact players for us is going to be Nicolette Sinagra. Nicolette's a 4-year starter. She led our team in hits, triples, doubles, on-base percentage, batting average. She was tabbed as a ECC co-preseason player of the year. She was COSIDA Academic All-American 3rd team last year.
Right.
So she's going to be leading us off in the top spot in the lineup.
Right.
We also have Dana White coming back. Dana was one of our top 3 hitters last year, and she also has a lot of leadership for us. Alon Bodie in the catching position did an unbelievable job for us and caught 90% of our games.
Right.
A definite addition there, having the defense back there.
Right.
I have Brenda Lee coming back in the second base position. Tracy, who played a lot of third base last year, was a first team ECC player, will be in the pitching circle. We'll see time in the field as well when she's not pitching.
Right.
So we have a lot of starters coming back, so I'm happy about that.
Okay, great. Okay, and Susan, can you please discuss your pitching staff with us?
Well, it's a different look for us. We went with the same 2 pitchers for 4 years who were very successful.
Right.
So this is definitely a new look. We have 3 pitchers on our staff. We have 2 sophomores. Neither of them really saw much time last year because of our other 2 starters. And we also brought in a freshman. So right now we're looking for our freshmen Chelsea Hawks, our sophomores Tracy Belinskas and Sam Sauer to distinguish themselves and decide which one is going to be at the top of our pitching staff.
Who's going to step up? And I know you just mentioned Hawks as one of your freshmen. Can you talk about the other newcomers to your team this year?
Yeah, sure. We have 4 new players, Chelsea one of them, and then our other 3, one is a third baseman. Her name is Ashley Fedor. She comes from Connecticut. She'll have an opportunity to start at third base this year when Tracy Belinskas, our starting third baseman from last year, steps on the mound.
Right.
She brings us probably the quickest bat we've seen in a lot of years. She's very quick with her hands. We expect a lot from her. Defensively, she's very solid.
Right.
We also have Erin Clinton, who comes from California. Erin is by nature an infielder, but will see some time in the outfield for us. Also, we have Rachel Wisniewski, who is a walk-on to the team and gives us some depth in the catching position.
Okay. Looking at the rest of the conference, which team in the ECC do you think poses the biggest threat to taking the conference title this year?
I think over the last few years, a lot of teams have stepped up. Obviously, for us, LIU Post probably is the front runner.
Right.
They return a lot of players, and obviously they return Liz Weber, a key player for them. And they've had a lot of tradition of success over the last 10 years or so.
Right.
I also think that Dowling, Mercy, and really anybody can step it up, and it will be definitely a competition for us in the East Coast Conference.
All right, and Susan, last question I have for you before I let you go. What would you say is your coaching philosophy that you try to pass on to your players and assistant coaches?
You know, I think for me, preparation. I try to remind them preparation is so important. You can't go over a drill or a skill enough,
Right.
because I want them to be familiar with that skill so that when they see it in a game time situation, that they're prepared. I don't want them to ever be in a situation where they haven't seen something. I want them to feel confident.
Right.
And I think that's important for me. I'm also big into the mental game. So we do a lot of challenges throughout the year where we ask the student athletes to step up and to test themselves, to push themselves a little further.
Okay. Well, Susan, thanks for joining
Thank
me
you very
today.
much.
I really appreciate it. I'm sure the Lions fans out there will be looking forward to seeing this upcoming season, and they won't have to wait too long because the softball team opens the 2014 season on Wednesday, March 5th, when they play Adelphi University. As always, please stay tuned to MolloyLions.com for any spring scheduling changes and updates. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Enjoy your day, and always, let's go Lions!